Welcome to another pre-show. Gather round, everyone.
Indeed, indeed. No cheap seats are free for you this time. In you go to the expensive ones. And if that weren't bad enough, it is November here in the Southland. And you know what that means. It means
Yes.
the golden sunlight. Yesterday, I was almost overwhelmed on Old Mill Road in San Marino.
Right.
I just turned east in El Molino in that piece that looks like the Westchester of my childhood, and the sunlight was weird and golden. The whole thing was enchanting. I was back home for, a nanosecond.
I don't like that your favorite parts of California are the parts that you think you're somewhere else.
Oh, yeah? Do you like Disneyland?
Oh. Well, actually, to be fair, I haven't gone there in like 20 years. But,
Yes, but when you went to Disneyland, did you not love Disneyland?
I feel like this isn't fair.
What? Oh, why? Because they don't have to pay $150 to see it? Is that what you're saying? It's okay if you have to pay an arm and a leg, but otherwise you're a traitor to the state?
I'm pretty vexed right now, but...
What are you vexed about?
Okay, fine. Valid point about Disneyland, but I feel like, are you in New York? You're like, oh wow, this place really reminds me of California.
No.
Yeah, that's...
But it does happen to be in Austria.
Really?
Yes. There's one place I go that makes you feel as though we're in downtown LA.
Where is that?
No, the Trumau Town Dump.
Okay, come on.
What?
Come on.
No, all it lacks are the homeless tents. Otherwise, it could, be perfect. What?
Okay. You know what?
What have you got against homeless tents?
What have I got against homeless tents?
They gotta live somewhere too.
Okay.
All right. What? What do you want me to say?
I want you to love your country.
I do love my country.
I want you to love your state. The whole
I
state
do
of
love
California.
my state. Yeah, I don't know what more you want out of me. I look, okay. I love the Huntington Gardens. They remind me of so many different places. The Story Stern's Japanese Gardens, love it. The County Arboretum here in Arcadia, with plants from all over the world, I love it. Disneyland, I love it. Knott's Berry Farm, same. I love the state park system. Now, what is it you want out of me? What do you want me to say?
I want something genuine from California. I mean, you like Hugh Hauser. California's gold. Now,
I do
these
like
are
Hugh
places
Hauser.
that are genuinely California. You can't duplicate this anywhere else.
No, I didn't say you could. But if I want to feel like I'm in downtown LA, there's no place better in Europe than the Trumau Town Dump.
That's disrespectful and mean-spirited.
To what?
To California. To Los Angeles.
Let me tell you something. You know what Hugh Hauser would have said if he could see the Trumau Town Dump?
What?
That's amazing.
Wow. He's turning over in his grave.
It's what he would have said. So you've been dumping things here since the Middle Ages? I can see it. I can see the whole thing. Yeah, since the Middle Ages, Joe, all this time we have been dumping here. Well, that's amazing. And what happens when there's too much? We burn. It goes away. Wow. So if there's a lot of trash, you just burn it? That's not too. That's amazing. You burn it. Wow.
Okay. So that's what you think of California's gold.
That's not what I think.
A bunch of very unimpressive, dumpy things that the host makes amusing.
That is not true. Look at the Integratron.
I don't know what that is.
Well, funny you ask. Huel dedicated a whole special to the Integratron. It's this vast sphere out in the desert that was designed by George Van Tassel under the inspiration of our alien space brothers. And if you go there, you can have a sound bath.
Okay. Very good. All right. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. You got you've got your confused and frustrated Vinny look out of the way, so we can get away from that. We can get away from that. So we check that box. It's gonna be smooth ride from here on in.
Have you never had a sound bath before?
A sound bath?
Yes.
No.
Well, if you went to the Integratron and you paid them some money, you could have a sound bath.
Great. Looking forward.
I thought you might.
All right. Anything else before we get started with the questions?
Why, yes, there is. Something really astonishing and, dare I say it, amazing.
Okay.
I have had such a week. I went to the LA Breakfast Club. I went to the British United Services Club. I went to the Newman Club of Los Angeles. I mean, I have been social this week. I went to the Huntington. I went all over. I went to Vroman's Books in fabulous Pasadena. And you say, I don't love my country and my city and my state. What a silly crock that is. I went to the Colonial Kitchen, I'll have you know. I had lunch.
Okay.
I went to Norm's.
Okay, there we go.
Now, don't you feel
I feel better.
But don't you feel like you justifiably assaulted me?
I felt like there was confusion, and sometimes confusion, I love my state so much, I'm not afraid to be defensive about it.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, would you consider Governor Newsom to be one of the greatest leaders of our time?
Well, honestly, I'm not sure. I'd have to size up the competition as well. I've been so tuned out, and it'd be a world's tallest pygmy situation, honestly.
I know the feeling. Well, who's the chick that's running LA now? I keep forgetting her name.
I can't believe she won.
Yeah, what's her name? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I don't really care.
Well, you don't care?
No.
You don't care. Ladies and gentlemen, this hurts. You don't care who is mayor of the city of Los Angeles.
People come and go, the names change, but some things never always stay the same.
Like the homeless and garbage?
Yeah, we're just people in, people out, but we're keep going the same direction. It's as if we've had one continuous mayor.
Mayor Downer.
I don't see how she could be worse than the COVID one, honestly. Garcetti?
Yeah, Garcetti. Or Villaseñor, his Villaraigosa.
Villaraigosa. I mean, that's...
We've had some prize morons in City Hall, I must say. Anyway, let's not bag on your native city. Let's bag on Arcadia.
Okay. I mean, you can try.
I don't want to.
Okay.
One thing, I want to be able to get back to the car when I finish this.
Right.
Isn't it so sad? Your car seems to have had all 4 tires slashed. Drove the delinquents.
That's stupid and wrong. That doesn't even make sense. You wouldn't have your tires slashed. Your car would be on blocks.
Well, we'll see that. Not if you were somebody who's in a hurry. I don't know, a passing policeman. And you'd say, look, they slashed your tires. Isn't that horrible? Maybe you'll think twice about badmouthing the city of Arcadia when you're doing a podcast. I know, I would if I were you. I can imagine the chief saying something like that to me if I would badmouth Arcadia on the podcast, which I will never do.
Good. By the way, it was like Christmas for Charles today. I know, I think most of the people who sent in stuff, I think Lint, Andy, and Andrew, maybe 1 or 2 more.
Mr. Stack.
Yeah. Thank you. Charles just got them.
Yeah. Thanks for all the pelf and merch.
Right. For For all the people who, I think there was a couple mishaps though. For all the people who said they were sending in money, like in the letter it says here's like $50. I think you forgot to put the money in. So go ahead and send it again. I think like you missed it.
I noticed that when he hands me a bunch of empty envelopes, and he says they all said they had money in them, and I couldn't find any. They'd all been sliced open, of course.
So, I know it's a digital age. I know it's weird to exchange cash like that, but let's give it one more try, shall we?
I just can't help but thinking that it's kind of a weird coinky-dinky-dink that all 57 envelopes have been slit open and there was no money in them.
It's weird.
Isn't that strange? Wonder how that happened.
I can't account for that.
Yeah, that new guy in the mailroom. I noticed he had a new jacket.
A guy can't get a new jacket unless he be suspect?
No, well, I'd be the last person. The mailroom guys look very happy for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, wow, that's super sus.
Well, I'm just saying.
This guy's happy over here. Criminal.
There was never a wet bar in the mailroom before, and now there is. I don't know. I mean, and I can't imagine you to put out the dough to put that in.
Well, no, that wasn't me.
No, it was there somehow. Magic. I went down and what's his face? Casey, the head man down there. He says, well, there have been some improvements since you were here last, Mr. Coulombe. And I said, oh, well, we have a wet bar for one thing. You never live, ladies and gentlemen, to see the denizens of a mailroom, hooching it up while doing their work. I'm amazed any of the mail gets here now. They look very happy, though.
Yeah, well.
You run a tight ship.
We run a tight ship. I mean, we're very lenient. We allow for ownership of each person in their department, and some innovation.
Yeah, it's called encouraging initiative.
All right.
What do we got? Let's have this Waldo fall.
Yeah. Question from Will, who says, hi, what are some good books on the French Revolution in English?
Oh, you are demanding. Well, the best, in my humble opinion, is by Bernard Fay, F-A-Y. It's called Louis XVI, or The End of a World.
You've said that before.
I have said it before. I'll say it again. I keep saying it. As far as other books go, there are, believe it or not, although their editorial stance is way off in terms of reportage or facts and keeping them in common with other things, shall we say. Will and Ariel Durant's Age of Rousseau and Age of Revolution and Age of Napoleon are worth reading. Simply because they give you a good feeling for the complexity and the fact that it wasn't just a French phenomenon, but it was Europe-wide. But I would read Bernard Fay to have an ideological place from which to stand and to interpret. And then you could just add facts to that from almost anybody. And, of course, the American Heritage comic book on the French Revolution.
What does Charles know about Baden-Wurttemberg in southwestern Germany?
Well, it is the state in southwestern Germany. Its capital is Stuttgart, and it's made up of several different countries. The Kingdom of Württemberg, the Grand Duchy of Baden, the Principality of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen and Hohenzollern-Hechingen. Primarily, the people who live there are Swabian, Swabish.
Okay.
It's a German tribe. And their Swabish language is different. They're the big Spätzle people. They like Spätzle a lot.
I don't know what that is.
Sort of a cross between short noodles and dumplings. It's very good.
Okay.
I had it last night, in fact.
Wow.
Because my host, the Tom Ertl who gave the game dinner, he's a Schwab from Baden-Württemberg.
Wow.
Well,
okay.
So we had elk, American elk, and there's another peculiarity. What we call elk in Europe is red deer. What they call elk, we call moose.
Okay.
So.
Those are two different animals.
Yes,
though.
I'm aware they are.
Okay. Helvicio says, Dear Don Vincenzo and Sir Charles, I hope this message finds you both well. Charles seemed a bit sick for the Halloween episode.
Sorry.
Though he struck me as somewhat recovered in the next one. I will keep you both in my prayers for sure. Here are my questions. Number 1, has Charles heard of the Straus-Howe generational theory? What does he think of it? The millennials, according to this theory, would fall into the hero generation category, like the greatest generation. Does my generation just need a world war to bring out all of our best qualities?
Well, I don't know anything about the personality system at all, so I can't comment on it, except to what you said there. I hope not. I mean, ideally, a generation should not need its brightest and best to die. I mean, it's rivers of bloodshed in order to bring out the best. But maybe that's what people need. I don't know. But I actually very much like the millennials. I really do. For one thing, I've finally found a generation that's got my work ethic. You know, there's practically none. And I love that. It makes you feel at home with millennials.
Yeah, good. That's good, Charles. I'm glad.
Well, you know, when somebody of Generation Xer, for instance, will say, well, we better go, gang, you know, I got work in the morning. A millennial will say, well, let's have a couple more rounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they get to work about 10:30 in the morning. They have a job that normally starts at 8. But fortunately, very often their bosses are buffaloed. So they realize that for a millennial, coming in at 10:30 is normal.
Okay, wow, you've really got us figured out.
Well, and I share your pain.
Okay. So you don't know the Straus-Howe generational theory? Not exactly. Okay. It almost sounds like to hear Helvicio say that the millennials, according to this theory, would fall into the hero generation category.
Which sounds like they've got a cyclical.
Yeah, it sounds like cyclical, but you know, I feel like this sounds super flawed because I think, as you pointed out, the greatest generation, I mean, while they had certain very strong qualities, you know, as parents, they failed, no? They completely failed.
They completely failed, and you know, they were the ones who really began loosening things up in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And part of it, of course, they didn't have a choice about. I mean, when the men were away for war, the women worked. What else were they supposed to do? Starve? And morals suffered, you know.
Yeah.
If you were a halfway-looking, good-looking man, you could have your way with all sorts of chicks. You were probably 4F, or maybe some kind of draft dodger, so you weren't the highest quality. But you were available, you were male.
Gosh. So does my generation just need a world war to bring out all our best qualities?
I hope not.
There seems to be also a cyclical where I think, because I think I saw this meme of the cyclicality where great men bring easy times bring soft men bring hard times bring strong men, something like that, right? Like the relationship between the environment and the character of the person.
Yeah.
Do you agree in this sort of thinking at all?
Well, yes and no. I mean, see, the problem is people are so different. I have known any number of men for whom the military in general and war in particular have brought out the best in them, and yet I've known men who destroyed.
Yeah.
And you can't tell which it's going to be until they do it. And frankly, I would, if we could keep you millennials safe, I'd rather do that, no matter how annoying you may be.
I think I would disagree with the theory, with this theory on the basis that it seems sort of behavioralist,
Yeah.
where you have this sort of cause and effect, almost like we're animals or something, and then there's this natural thing, and sort of God isn't involved.
It eliminates both God and free will.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's what my pardons if it's not like that at all, Helvetia, but if it is, that's our. All right. Here, second question from Helvetia. Ralph Waldo Emerson, American literary great, or Yankee fraud foisted on American school children to cure them of the desire to read?
Well, certainly a Yankee fraud. The joke about Ralph Waldo Emerson was that he would go to his reunion at Harvard and sit in the corner all night, drinking and drinking and getting soberer and soberer. He's what passes for an American great thinker. He was a Unitarian minister, but he quit the Unitarian ministry because he found Unitarianism too dogmatic and restrictive.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And so he went on to be the father of the transcendentalists, who thought vague thoughts that sounded deep. And they, in turn, were the forerunners of all sorts of weird, cheap thought, like New Age and all that stuff, New Thought, Christian Science, even Mormonism. There's a reason it all came out of New England.
Yeah. Could read more about this on Puritan's Empire.
Yes.
Because, when you talk about Ralph Waldo Emerson, you think of some of these generations and their approach to religion, it seems all rooted in sort of the initial seed, or it's a reaction to the initial seed of Puritanism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, which Unitarianism, of course, was the direct response, and then Transcendentalism came out of Unitarianism, which it rejected because it saw it as too intellectual.
Yeah.
About thinking and not about experientiality.
Experientiality. I like that.
Have you ever felt experiential?
I want to. So bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Put out your hand.
Is that what it is? I thought it would be so much nicer.
Hey, well, all right. Put out your hand.
Yeah, firm handshake. That's nice.
All right.
I want that kind of experientiality.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Put out your hand. Hi, I'm with Forest Lawn.
No, thanks.
No?
I don't want that one.
All right, how about this? Hello, I'm with the Heart Association.
Okay, you're being weird now. You're being creepy, Charles. We're going to have to revisit the certified non-creepy with the LA Archdiocese.
Yeah, well,
I think you're up for renewal.
All right, one more.
All right.
All right, handshake.
Yeah.
Fisherman's.
That is
the
totally...
fisherman's handshake.
The fisherman's handshake? Really?
Yeah, it's like a fish.
It's not... That is so besmirching the reputation of fishermen. Fishermen do not do that.
Dairyman's handshake.
No, I'm not going to even... We're not going to even go there.
You know the dairyman's handshake?
You're making me nervous now.
Do you know the dairyman's handshake?
I don't know it. Stop trading. Okay, great, Charles.
You know the thumb war?
Yes.
You ever see the moron version?
No.
Give me a hand. All right, the normal version, ladies and gentlemen, was like that, right? If you had a thumb war. All right.
It goes on forever.
It doesn't work very well. The only thing stupid are the players, the people who bet on it. But
you mentioned that.
ladies and gentlemen, my work here is done. I have achieved it.
Yeah, you got me. Okay.
What else we got?
Last question. I recently read that the Catholic Catechism prohibits torture in all cases absolutely, but that one philosopher named Uwe Steinhoff has argued for an exception to this rule where the criminal withholding information will lead to the death of innocent people. Examples might be found in the movie Dirty Harry or the Mook case in Germany, where the police beat the suspect in order to reveal where he had imprisoned a child. What does Charles think of this ticking time bomb exception? Thanks again for answering these questions and all that you do. Happy Veterans Day and happy month of the Holy Souls. Sincerely, Helvicio. Thank you, Helvicio.
Thank you very much. Well, that's a very challenging question. Especially because torture, which none of us enjoy, well, a few people do, but we try not to talk about them, especially when they find their way in the high office and get blackmailed for enjoying it. But anyway, it's okay, don't worry about it. Don't follow that line of...
Okay, I won't.
It's wisest not to.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll end up as president of the United States. Anyway.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh. You thought you were creeped out before. Ha. Anyway, seriously, but it is a question, because how and where do you draw the line, and how do you know for sure the guy has done it? The problem with torture is that you find the person guilty before he's been found guilty.
Oh. Okay, because, I kind of jumped that gun a little bit, because I was trying to, do the math based off our historical, our teachings, obviously just war theory.
Yeah.
And then I remember your talk on vigilante, where's the most harm? If you're going to kill, 50 people, a little torture. In just war theory, if you can kill a person, well, torture is a lesser evil, so to speak.
Yeah.
If you can save people like that. But then that's all assuming that they have what you want.
Which they may not.
Okay.
So it's a hard case. Well, I mean, if you've got a moral certainty that the person definitely knows what the story is and is holding out, it's a hard call. It's a very hard call. But I would invite our moral theologians in the viewership to give us some guidance here.
Okay. You don't want to put yourself out there more?
Not really. I mean, the problem with questions of morals, especially today, is that number one, we got to presuppose you have some. Number two, it really is an intricate question. The more I think about it, the more I'm tempted to think out loud, and that would not be helpful.
Well, okay. How about let's explore this a little bit. So how about because I'm thinking of Zero Dark 30 now, right? Which actually I really like as a movie. Have you seen Zero Dark 30? It's Jessica Chastain, and it's the hunt for Osama bin Laden.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and in the beginning of the movie, it's really they've got this known terrorist. He's part of the network, and he knows, or they know he knows pretty significant information to sort of unravel some of these cells. And so they sleep deprive him, and they kind of bluff him and do some other stuff. But basically, long story short, if you're at war with terrorists and stuff, what would you say to that? If you know they know something, but it might be more indirect?
Wartime becomes all the more difficult because the rules alter somewhat. What is permissible in wartime is not permissible in peacetime. I would be hard put to give a definitive answer.
Okay. I mean, has the church ever been involved in this?
No, yeah, that's why you have the things like the truth of God and the peace of God and so on. But those were dependent on every government and every Catholic lord behaving properly.
Yeah. Okay. That's it for the pre-show, everyone. But stay tuned.
And wake up. You're a little sleepy.
I am awake, Charles. You're projecting.
That's right. Nevertheless, I will attempt my best to stay up for our next session. If I can do it, you can do it. Be there or be square.